Hey everyone, this is Millennial Investor here with my October update on the stock market. And last month I was at 21,426, and this month I'm looking at $22,891. Now that would be a really good amount. However, I've invested about $2,000 or so since the last month, and if you factor in that my money's increased roughly about 1,500, then there's definitely been a loss somewhere. And that's indeed true. This is the one-day breakdown, down $37. Now, unfortunately, over the last week, I've dropped about 2%, or about $456. And then over the last month, unfortunately, about 4%, 931. So it's just kind of been a bad month. And since the last video is over a month old, if we take a look at the 3-month decline, you can see that right after that last video, I've kind of taken a dip for the down run. So I'm down about 5% or $1,146 over just recently. So it hasn't been really good. It's never good to show results like these, especially when the market's doing so well. But I've probably made some bad decisions, and hopefully in the future, and hopefully with just investing more and more money, I can correct that in the future. So let's take a look at my investments. I've added more into LTC, and my other real estate stocks are looking pretty good for the most part. The numbers are fairly strong. 3%, O's down 2.5%, SBR's up 14%, so on and so forth. Coles, I believe, was up about 15+%, and now we're just looking at about an 8% rise from my original 26 shares. And my MIT is doing great. Verizon is definitely the stronger of the two choices. I own 4 shares of Verizon, 41 of AT&T, and unfortunately AT&T is the one that is down 10%, and Verizon's the one that is up 10%, while I only own 4 shares of them. So maybe not the best pick, but I felt like at the time AT&T had the more upside to it, and now it's clearly looking like Verizon is taking that game. Ford's also up, so 10% on Ford. HGT is down 4.5%, but HGT is just a dividend-paying stock that is relatively cheap. So it's about $1.60, and if I have a few extra dollars here and there, I just kind of throw it into this stock because it makes dividends, and it's been up to $1.90 before in the past on several occasions. So it can go up and make me a quick gain, or it can go down, and if it does go down, it's not a significant loss on that part. Okay, CRT, I believe I had about 45 or so shares in it last month. I'm up to 60, and I've kind of stabilized that, so I'm no longer in the negative with that one. And then the culprit of why I've lost so much money this last month, General Electric, about 1/5 of my portfolio was in that stock. And unfortunately, with all this restructuring and hiring and firing and all this stuff that's kind of going on with the company, there's been like a significant decline. So about 17% in the last month and about 20% in the last 3 months. So they've kind of had their ups, but now it's just, too much is going on with that company. With my average buying cost of about $26 at 138 shares, I've taken about an $800 loss. So I do believe this company will turn around, and it's kind of one of those things like I'm too deep into this market, and I don't really want to just sell out, because if I sell out, then I've definitely lost the money, and although it could be reinvested elsewhere, it's the stock market, and you can't predict things that are going to happen. General Electric can, jump up 10% tomorrow based on some news item, and if they jump up 10% right when I drop out of the market after taking this, then that will be an unfortunate loss for me. So I'm just sticking with it, and I will purchase a few additional shares here and there, but I'm not essentially going to be playing much with General Electric in the meantime. And that's another one of these stocks. They're down about 31%. They've just, been in a decline mode for a while, so I'm kind of just going to watch that stock for a while. They do pay dividends out, but I'm sure there's going to be a significant decline. Mylan's also dropped about 10%. I want to say that was fairly recent. So let's see, yeah, even just this past week, they've dropped about 9% or so. So pretty significant drops on a number of them. General Mills, though, is improving, so they're only about -5% right now. And then some electrical company, Disney, Disney's one of these stocks I do believe is going to go up significantly in the future, but they're playing the long game or something, just slightly declining every so month. So they're at about negative 7.5% for me right now. Okay, other than that, Intel's up 31%, which would be awesome if I owned more than a single share in it, while AMD has actually dropped significantly. I think they're down about 25% over this last month or so. So let's take a look. Yeah, plus 10% to negative 13. So they've dropped a lot. So once again, another kind of unfortunate decision where I had a stronger feeling about AMD and Intel's the one that pays out. So that happens. Chesapeake's about the same as last month, and then Pepsi is also very similar, while Dunkin' Donuts is up 15%. So that's a look at my breakdown. I'm still playing the dividend game. I'm investing more and more money into shares of these companies and maybe starting up some additional ones in the future. And I'm hoping that eventually in the long run that all my dividends kind of pay out. This is a breakdown of all my dividends about to pay. And you can see that my numbers are increasing just because of the additional shares that I'm purchasing. So I do know dividends reduces the cost or the price of a share, but in the future, it kind of just builds up and compounds, so on and so forth. So we'll see. I do enjoy the stock market just because it's more active than my other investments, and it's on my phone, so it's kind of fun to do. But no worries, I'm not overly concerned about anything. I'm just going to keep investing, and hopefully it pays out in the future. Okay, if you have any questions or feedback or anything, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, this is the Millennial Investor signing out. Peace.